if you think about the job interview process and how it kind of all works, most people approach it thinking like, oh, I go to interviews, they ask me like 1,000 questions, hopefully I give some good responses and they give me an offer, right? And I kind of come in like, maybe not as prepared, I might know a little bit about the company, but I come in thinking I'm ready and I'll answer these questions. And really what pros who are pros at interviewing, the person applying for jobs is not so much about the questions they ask, though that's important. It's more about what you want to share and how you work your stories, how you work your successes, and particularly how you work your specific situations where you've shown value to companies and how you can show value to their company into those answers. So what's really important is that you've prepared all that ahead of time. You're not in an interview thinking about, oh, what are some of my great strengths or what are some of my weaknesses? You've got that already prepared, and when you get to the interview question part of the course, that's going to be real helpful for you. But you really want to prepare what you want to highlight. You want to have a list of things that can be used in other multiple types of questions, situations where you were successful, for example, that you can bring into any type of question. So let's say you could ask some situational questions like, tell me about a time when you had to work with a difficult coworker, or tell me about a time when you had to work on a very challenging project. Right? Two kind of different questions, but maybe you've got a situation where you can combine it together where you're like, here's the difficult project that I worked on. It was difficult because of A, B, and C. And oh, by the way, one reason it was difficult was I had some difficult coworkers. I had to work through that. So if you get asked the question on the team or the project or the challenging project or the question about coworkers, you have a story that can now be worked in either of those types of questions that highlights your successes, very important, highlights your success, and even more important, that you make the connection about how this experience or this behavior or this knowledge you have helps the organization that you're interviewing with. Because that's all that really matters in the end, particularly the interviewer is like, I want to know about your stories, I want to know about your successes, but how can you help me? How can you help my organization? So come prepared with those things. So, take a piece of paper, write down a lot of your successes. You'll feel better too, and you'll feel good about the interview process going forward or applying for jobs because you'll see like, wow, I'm great. So write down a lot of these successes, write about a lot of these different types of situations, go through the interview question part of this course and think about how you would answer those and have a pool of answers that you can kind of use in different situations. I'll give you one last example from a personal example to kind of, hammer home what we're talking about here. For example, I worked on a project for a company, and it was very successful, and I saved the company like a little over $1 million. True, we actually measured it, saved them actually about $1.3 million in US dollars. And it was so successful, I got a lot of recognition for it, and I won a Chairman's Award for that, which was an award out of a 50,000 employee company that goes out to like 10 people a year. So not to brag or anything, but that's pretty good stuff that I want to integrate into an interview, right? I want to talk about Chairman's Award and how hard it was to get that and how to be recognized. I want to talk about how I was recognized by my peers and how I helped them to succeed as well. And I want to use those numerics in that specific situation to tell the story about not only were we successful, but in the end result, we reduced costs for this organization by $1.3 million. Those are things that are very, very impactful. And if I could take that and say, yes, I saved the organization $1.3 million, and I was recognized by the chairman of the company, which was a very nice thing in this formal award. But what's really important is like, I can do this for you. Now I can see how I can help you, your organization, have this kind of success too. And that's the connection you want to make. So to wrap up this lesson, think about it a different way and think about interviewing is not so much being responding passively to questions, is coming in prepared actively to talk about things that you can then link to the questions you may be asked.